Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here. So glad to have you with us, both on We Act Radio, also watching on TakeActionNews.com. This is our segment where we give somebody the award Activist of the Week, somebody who's making a difference in his or her community or our world to bring attention to some crucial issues. And we are so pleased to make our Activist of the Week this week, somebody who's on faculty at the University of Rhode Island. He's a featured blogger on the Lawyers, Guns, and Money blog. He writes primarily about environmental and labor law and history, but he has focused as of late on the politics of guns in particular. He supports abolishing the Second Amendment, and he's taken some pretty unique actions over the last week or so. Our Activist of the Week, Professor Eric Loomis, who joins us over Google Hangout. Eric, thanks for being part of the program today, and congratulations.
Thanks for the honor, and I really appreciate you having me.
It's great to have you on board. So, Eric, first of all, tell us a little bit about your desire to abolish the Second Amendment. How come?
Well, I guess my view on that stems from the fact that how many people have to die so that we can play with shiny, deadly toys. Now, that doesn't mean abolishing the Second Amendment doesn't necessarily mean that all guns would be illegal per se, but it means perhaps that we could have a more civilized discussion of guns, and that this idea that the ability to own any gun at all, no matter how deadly, no matter how high-powered, is a fundamental right granted in the Constitution, makes absolutely no sense with the ideas that the framers had when they put the Constitution together in 1787.
Eric, you had a particularly interesting this past week after you said that you wanted Wayne LaPierre's head, Wayne LaPierre, the head of the NRA, you wanted his head on a stick. I got what you were talking about and sort of the language that you were referring to, but some young activists on the right went after you for it. It set the right-wing nut jobs going. They went crazy over this, and you actually got a visit from the state police. Is that right?
Yeah, it was crazy. Basically, I mean, imagine the situation. I'm sitting, reading the news as it follows, or as it's happening, hearing about these 26 people, 20 young kids murdered by this lunatic with these high-powered weapons, and I'm on Twitter, and, I'm really upset. My high school Spanish teacher was murdered in one of these situations in 1998. Her son actually killed her, and then went to the other high school in my town and killed 2 people and wounded 15. So it's very personal. And I'm watching this unfold, and I'm on Twitter, and I was very upset, and I used some somewhat harsh language, and it's just amazing that these people would take an obvious metaphor. I mean, I think the last time anybody when you used the term head on a stick, meant that it was intended for the direct murder of somebody, was sometime around 1450. But they took this as me calling for the assassination of Wayne LaPierre, which is literally the most surreal and absurd thing of my life. And some lunatic evidently called the FBI and said that I had advocated for LaPierre's assassination. The police met with me, but clearly they were far more concerned with my own safety. Because they knew, obviously, this was completely ridiculous. So they were very concerned for my own safety, which developed over the next couple of days, as well as people began inundating both me and my university with all kinds of hate mail, including legitimate death threats.
How has the university handled this?
Well, I mean, they were pretty taken aback by it at first, but they, because thanks to my very strong union and wonderful colleagues and a tremendous amount of support from academics across the nation, they're clearly going to respect my right for free speech, and so there's really no question about that. I mean, it did catch them off guard. I mean, certainly they did not expect that, but the outpouring of support for me very much helped.
Well, Eric, as somebody who has, I was suspended for saying something that I thought everybody would understand the metaphor and that people would not take the word pimped out literally, but apparently, I mean, the pressure that was put on NBC News and MSNBC when I was there for that was tremendous, and it's not, it can be a really uncomfortable place to be. So you have my sympathies and empathy for what you're going through at the university and all the pressure you're facing. Tell us a little bit about your career in activism and how you got involved.
Sure. I mean, there's a number of moments in my life that really turned me into an activist. I think probably one of the most important was back when I was a senior in high school. This was in Springfield, Oregon in 1992, and I graduated from high school. In my town that year was the kind of a trial run for one of these anti-gay, anti-special rights for gays amendments that was more famously passed that fall by the state of Colorado, later overturned. But my town was this trial town for this. And, you know, here I am, a relatively non-political 17, 18-year-old, as most 17, 18-year-olds are, and all of a sudden I see so many people, including friends of mine, really engaging in this horrible hate campaign against gays, and you know, it turned me from somebody who was a fairly apolitical kid into somebody who was really disturbed by that level of hate. And you know, ever since then, I've really tried to, you know, when I can, speak out against hate and against violence when necessary. And obviously doing that upsets people who are, you know, happy to, in this case, happy to advocate for people having unlimited access to incredibly violent weapons that they can use to kill an immense number of people, as we've seen over and over and over again over the last 15 years.
Eric, we always ask our activists of the week if they have any advice that they would give to people who are considering acts of activism, whether they be big or small. What sort of advice would you give to people out there who are thinking about taking action?
Well, I think that you know, I would say to organize and to join a community of like-minded people, whether it's online or in person. I mean, I'm a labor historian, and I study the history of labor movements in this country, and this is how change is made: is by getting together with people and with modern tools. You know, that can be an online community, and that online community has, of course, been tremendously helpful for me in the last week, to stand up for the issues that you believe in and to make positive change. And this is how it's done. You know, it's one person, but it's one person in solidarity with many people, and that's how change has been made over our history, and it's how change is made today. So that's what I would say, is to organize yourself with your neighbors, your community, but also online communities as well.
Eric Loomis, he's a lawyer, writer, and University of Rhode Island professor. Eric, you have our solidarity with you and our support for you as you go through some of the pressure that you're under. And congratulations on being our Activist of the Week and bringing so much attention to these issues. It's really important, and it's folks like you who really make such a big difference for all of us. And so we thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor, and I really appreciate you having me on the show.
You got it. Eric Loomis, professor at the University of Rhode Island, and a very courageous guy. And folks, I know what it's like when you say something that's sort of a colloquialism or that's, you know, common slang, and people want to take the worst of that and try to hit back at you. It's not an easy place to be. And so I salute to Eric Loomis for what he's doing, for how he's weathering this storm, and also for his activism on this issue. Coming up, the activism for D.C. statehood. There's been a step taken to try to support D.C. statehood. I will ask Daniel Marins and Mitch Mulaski, who are residents of D.C., about that when Take Action News continues after this.